innocent young men and women from falling into the same trap. And so as soon as I came back, I did get in touch with the government. Want to see what can be done to publish the names of 4 Nigerians who have been convicted, not just in China, but in other parts of the world. Because I have discovered, to my utter chagrin, that the parents and relations and friends of these convicts are not aware of their fate. Secondly, many other young men and women who may be victims should also be made to realize the full implications of committing drug-related offenses, not just in Asia, in China, but in other Asian countries like Thailand, Taiwan, and the rest of them, because the penalty is death.
When I learned about this, I immediately got in touch with the Nigerian Foreign Affairs Minister, requesting that he gets in touch with the ambassador in China to give us details of Nigerians in prisons, and they did this and they sent the name to us, and I was really shocked to see the sheer number of these young Nigerians. Of course, the immediate thing to do is to begin to start a conversation around this. My ministry has no previous experience in dealing with this kind of issue. The ministry has no experience in dealing with this kind of thing. So it's a new area for us. And we quickly begin to ask ourselves, how do we approach this? Should we advertise these names in Nigerian newspapers so parents and relations of some of these children who didn't know what has befallen their wards will know, and also probably in the process serve as deterrent to other young Nigerians? But as far as advocacy goes, in real terms, what do we need to do as government? So I caused the list to be sent to the secretary to the government of the Federation, who said he was going to call a meeting, a high-level meeting of myself, the Foreign Affairs Minister, and of course himself, to begin to see in strategic terms what we need to do, and also engage with the Chinese authorities.
It is not known if that meeting has been called, but we gathered from our source at the Foreign Affairs Ministry that the Nigerian Embassy in China has put forward a proposal on behalf of the Nigerian government to the Chinese government, seeking the exchange of prisoners between both countries. But so far, the proposed bilateral agreement has not been signed.
We are not sure what the approach will be, whether we are going to ask for them to be repatriated to serve their jail term in Nigeria. We don't even know if that is good, because we have problems of capacity to handle that huge number.
On a short-term basis, that should be explored. But from the information at my disposal, the Chinese government will be very reluctant to accede to such a request, in the sense that the Chinese government has a policy to deal with anybody who decides, as it were, to mess up their system. Whether you are a Chinese national or not. Once you are caught in offenses like corruption, drug-related ones, the penalty is death. And on a daily basis, those who are convicted are shot dead. And that is their own, law. And you don't want to allow foreigners to mess up their system, because it has implications for them. If we allow foreigners to engage in corruption, drug-related offenses, only for them to be ferried out of China to their own countries, where their lives are saved, while their own nationals are shot dead, the Chinese government is not prepared.
Another snag to the prisoner exchange proposal is whether Nigeria has Chinese inmates in its jails it would want to exchange for the Nigerian prisoners in China. Apart from the 63-year-old Chinese man Richard Wang, who along with a Taiwanese Wang Chusen was given a 15-year sentence last July by a federal high court in Lagos for importing this container load of cocaine worth 4 billion naira. We do not know of any other Chinese serving a jail term in Nigeria. Both men must count themselves very lucky, because in China, their import of 450.4 kilograms of cocaine would have surely earned them the death penalty.
Countries enter bilateral agreement or exchange of prisoners is something at diplomatic level. There are a lot of things to consider. First is the issue of interest, the country's interest, and second, the issue of security. Most countries will be reluctant to receive prisoners from abroad because the offenses were committed there. It costs a lot of money to maintain prisoners. So in countries where a prisoner exchange bilaterals has been reached between Nigeria and those countries, there is also financial implication because you have to also pay money for the country receiving the prisoner to maintain the prisoner for the period of the sentence. Well, having said that, it's not that straightforward legally to exchange prisoners convicted for drug-related offenses, because in Nigeria there is a law called Decree 33, which is the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Amendment Decree 1989, which provides that if somebody is convicted abroad for a drug-related offense, that conviction itself is an offense, which is an offense of bringing the name of Nigeria to disrepute. So when the person serves his term abroad and comes back to Nigeria, he is subject to be again arrested and prosecuted for this offense called bringing the name of Nigeria to disrepute under Decree 33, which is now NDLA Amendment Act.
Now, I had cause to intervene very seriously with respect to a bill pending in the National Assembly to allow for prisoners exchange program. And this one has to do with the British government. And I asked the National Assembly members, there is no British national in any of our jails, in any of our jail houses. So what do you want to exchange? Again, this is part of the problem. And so no country will simply say, take those who have been convicted away. But when you now look at the prison situation here, you are going to run into serious crisis in your place. The facilities are not there. To dump 1,000 prisoners in Kirikiri or Ikoyi prisons or Enugu prisons or wherever, the facilities are not there. So this is another problem we have to consider.
Hope for prisoner exchange agreement may not be completely lost. In early January this year, one of China's newspapers, China Daily, ran this story quoting this top Chinese government official, Huang Hukeng, the Director General of the Department of Treaty and Law, as saying the country is willing to sign a prisoner transfer treaty with other countries. The newspaper even reported that the Chinese government has signed such a treaty with 9 countries already. Mr. Hukeng specifically said, quote, "When criminals are extradited, the familiar environment with their families will support their rehabilitation. In addition, other countries will be protecting their own citizens by relieving themselves of the burdens of harboring foreign criminals." End of quote.
Government should seek this issue of transfer, an agreement with China, bring them. Put them in a place. In Nigeria, we have a prison they can evacuate or try to decongest our prison fast so that these people can come back. They can divide them in prisons in Nigeria and they can serve their jail term so that their families can have access to them. The standard of living in prison here is better off because at the end of the day, you see some organizations going to give food, water, mineral. They visit them in Nigerian prisons. If they have that kind of privilege and families visit them, I think the families will be better off emotionally because their people are around.
What preparedness does Nigeria have to receive them? That is one. When Nigeria begin to bring back those prisoners from China, so are we also ready to bring back prisoners from the United States, from Britain, from Australia, from other parts of the world? Do we have such facilities? to contain them? Do we have the facilities to rehabilitate them? Do you get the point? I mean, for a country like Nigeria, I believe as a public policy manager that this kind of issue, you have to tackle it. Of course, there's a lot of sentimental components for it, but you have to tackle it beyond sentiment, and you have to be clear what you intend to achieve. You go to China, you meet these people, they tell you that, well, we are suffering here, we're not happy here, we're happy to be back home. That would be great if Nigeria is prepared to receive them. But of course, another level which is also being brought forward is at least we need to be sure that they had opportunity for fair trial prior to their jailing. So that is another side of the work that we have to do.
Fair trial is a very crucial issue for the Nigerian inmates in Chinese prisons. It is no longer news that the communist country's strict laws have been widely criticized, and with the inmates given just about $5 stipend per month, which approximates to 700 naira, it raises serious questions about conditions inside China's prisons.
It's so terrible there, the way they treat people there, because actually there they can torture you physically and mentally.
The torture, or the mentally torture. So it makes you think. No food, we feed ourselves by ourselves.
Maybe the little time you wanted to sleep is when they ask you to stand up. And that time, if you don't stand up, it's a big problem for you. They might come and shake your hand, shake your leg. Sometimes they shake their, people's hand at back like this for 2 weeks.
They provide a lawyer, and the lawyer is a government lawyer. That lawyer must not defend you beyond their law. If he did, he's liable to spend 15 days in prison.
Just back from one of the prisons in the Chinese capital of Beijing, Wale and Jide, not their real names, provide some insight into the country's justice system and life as a Nigerian prisoner in China.
They are just taking people to court for formalities. The moment you go to court, the judge might be sleeping like this. The lawyer, all of them, you discover they are sleeping on the seat because they have already concluded what they want to do.
The judge could be sleeping.
If you see them, they will be sleeping. They will be sleeping. The lawyer they provide for you, they call it aids or something like that. The legal aids. The lawyer there is just formality to come there because they are not going to listen to whatever he says. Because he's going to fight for his country. So just to make sure that you want to have the record that we provide lawyer for you, we do those things. That's why they give you lawyer. But it has no meaning. So,
in your case, did you discuss with your lawyer? Did you tell him what you want and all of that?
No. You don't see your lawyer. You just meet your lawyer in the court there. Blah, 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 blah. You don't even, that one, even whatever you say, you don't have any meaning. Even the lawyer, if the lawyer tell them this is how it's supposed to be, they say that one is overruled. Forget that one. So,
the court process was that you don't talk when you get there because you can't speak their language. No translator, nothing. So you see 3 judges, the prosecutors, and the typewriter. So they ask you, did you know this also person? So they tell you check it in the computer. So when they are speaking Chinese, they read it in the computer. So when you say yes, they say okay, this also person, this is their offense, and you are the one that shot it them. So they want to see them. Pending the time they see them, you will be under our custody. So that's how everything started.
Wale spent 4 years and 7 months in prison for what was termed a fraud. Yeah. And in that period, he says he appeared in court only once in a year.
That very day, I was in the house, then police knocked my door. I was just wearing my singlet and a short knicker. So they came in and said that the guys I shot, they do away with their boss money, and they wanted to see me in police station. And where are they? I said they have never come back home. I'm still waiting for them. They say okay, I have to follow them. So I followed them to the police station. I was there till about 3 o'clock in the midnight. first instance, they snatched all my houses, all my money. The goods I already bought. I have about $40-something thousand in my house. They took all my everything I have. They took everything. So from there, they took me to detention center. From detention center, after 1 year 4 months, I appear in the court for the first time. So from the court straight, it took me to prison.